right. Hello, everybody. This is Laser Brains. We're experimenting with a new format tonight.
As few people as possible.
Yes. Basically, whenever no one wants to be on the podcast, we're going to experiment a little bit and just have the two of us. So anyway, this is our co-host, Champion.
Hi, how's it going?
Woo! Okay, so basically, to make a long story short, Joshua Marvell is sick. And then no one else wants to be on the podcast. That's it, okay? But we do have to give credit because this movie was technically a request of Julia, right?
Yes.
So she requested it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And we made her
2 years
wait.
ago.
We made her
Yeah.
wait. We wanted to know if she was serious.
Mhm.
And turns out she was. And we watched it tonight finally. Now, I've seen this movie not many, but like maybe 5 times.
Okay, that's 5 times more than I've seen.
Okay, so how should we do this? Because I like to keep our viewers in suspense, but I'll just say that I actually love this movie,
Okay.
but it did take me a few times to really appreciate it, and now David Lynch has become one of my favorite directors. So
Well,
what's your impression of this?
First, before I start talking about my impression,
Okay.
I want to hear about your first impression. You said
First
it took
impression.
a bunch of times to get sort of into
Yeah,
it.
yeah, okay.
The first time you saw it, how did you feel
Okay,
afterwards?
so I think my first impression of this film was that I definitely enjoyed it, but I thought that some things about it were weird for the sake of weird and a little bit incoherent and a little bit all over the place. But I think as I saw it more and more, I started to also in the context of his other movies. If you see all of his other movies, you start to see like patterns. And I feel like this movie, much like Mulholland Drive, is like a Mobius strip, a little bit, where things only make sense if you see the whole thing and then kind of tie it together in a non-logical, surreal way.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I love this movie. There's maybe a couple things I could, improve or change, but I do think that it's this movie came out in 84, 85, I think.
Okay.
And I think it's totally unique. And like, I know that Roger Ebert famously gave it like a 0 out of 4
did he
review.
really?
Yeah. A very low review and hated it.
Mhm.
But I think it actually is really, really good. I love this movie. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go so far as to say that I love this movie.
Okay.
There are definitely things about it that I enjoyed. And I watched the whole thing, which I don't always watch a movie, right? Like I'll end up scrolling through my phone through some of it.
Son of a gun. Okay.
Like if I start checking out, visually, this movie was really, really engaging.
Mhm.
Not only the weird David Lynchy stuff, but also the more mundane, just sort of walking through the neighborhood kind of
Sure.
kind of scenes. Like it does feel like very authentic Americana.
Yes.
It feels like a product of its time, and it feels familiar to me in that sense because we both grew up in an era around then.
Sure.
right?
Absolutely.
And they did a great job of capturing how the town looks and feels. The characters themselves is where it starts to lose something for me because these don't feel like real people to me. Even when they're just acting like normal people, they don't act the way I expect normal people to act. They don't talk the way normal people talk. There's something very stilted about the dialogue. It's awkward.
I will concede, and this is actually something I was paying attention to today, is that these are clearly not real people, like at all. And for example, if you were to, sometimes when people are debating whether or not to watch a movie, they'll read the little, plot summary.
Yeah.
And I never, ever do that.
Oh, really?
No, maybe I'll watch the trailer. Maybe I'll watch like something. But if you were to describe this movie to someone, what would you say? You would say, two, teenagers basically investigate a crime where a man in yellow meets up with a well-dressed man. It sounds like the plot of a bad like Nancy Drew novel.
Yeah. Oh, some kids find an ear.
Yeah.
And they have some wacky capers.
Right.
But also the cops don't do anything
Right.
the whole time.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, though, is that they don't act like real people because this movie's not trying to be realistic at any point.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it necessarily works for me. Now,
Okay.
I'm not saying, like, again, you had to watch it 5 times.
Right.
And I am hesitant to say how I really feel about this movie because I think that I have to watch it a couple more times too. But I don't think that any number of watching is going to solve some of these problems.
Okay.
And there are little bits in this movie that I kind of see and say, wait a second, you didn't just do that, because that's kind of silly and that's kind of dumb.
Okay, what's an example? What's an example?
All right, I forget the context. I think it was in the apartment, and it was after Frank sort of kidnapped everyone and took them on a ride.
Sure.
And then they're partying, and then they're about to go someplace else, and then everyone just vanishes. For one brief second,
Yes,
everyone's
I love
there,
that, yes.
and then they vanish for a half a second,
Yeah.
and then the scene changes. Why did you do that?
Okay.
You never did it before. You don't do it again. It's jarring. I don't see the point of it.
Okay, this is a great question. And the thing is the first time I saw that, I did not feel taken out of the movie. I felt like it was an expression of the feeling. I can't explain exactly what I mean, but it didn't take me out of it. It like amplified how I felt, because we have to back up a little bit because we haven't told the audience the plot, and I don't think we need to.
I don't think
if you're watching this movie,
there's not much of a plot.
Yeah.
The kids find an ear,
Well,
and they
I think
and a
the point
mystery.
is though, is if you're watching this review, you've seen the movie, right? That's who this is for, right?
Well, I don't think we're gonna spoilers.
Yeah, no. But the point is that if you go back to the first, like when Kyle MacLachlan's character first is walking out of the hall and he sees Frank, that is a frightening moment, because you know what this guy's capable of. And you're like, oh no, what's going to happen now? Now, we've all been in situations where we've felt a little bit of trepidation about running into someone. But this movie takes it to the nth degree of danger and fear and uncomfortability. And here's the thing. They go into that apartment. Okay, they're all standing. Like the camera is just this wide shot of these 5 guys or whatever it is, and all this pandemonium is going on. And what's the actor's name from Quantum Leap? I don't remember his name.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, but he's like the guy that's kind of on the right, the effeminate guy with like the eyebrows, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And he kind of, I think he's not the well-dressed man. No, he's not.
No, he's the one that's like trying to get glasses for the beer.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So he walks
Honey,
up.
get the glasses.
Yeah. He walks up. And Frank is barking orders at everyone. And so we're already scared because he's freaking out about the glasses. Then he's freaking out about the beer. And he doesn't want to drink warm beer. And then they bring the glasses out and there's no beer. And he's like, do you want me to pour the beer? No, I want you to fuck it. Of course. And again, it's like everything he says makes you more and more scared of him. And then he just walks over and punches Kyle MacLachlan in the It is like I'm laughing at it, but I'm also scared. And then what's his name starts singing that song. It's insanity. Okay. And again, you're sitting here going like, and then you see all these people. You never see a close up of those people. They're just way off in the background. Then, and then they leave. And okay, no, he says we're gonna leave, because before that was when he said, "You want to go for a ride?"
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to go for a ride. What'd you say? He said, no, I don't want to go for a ride.
You want to go?
You want to go for a ride? That's a good
go for
idea.
ride.
Again, my stomach is churning. But now he's gathering everyone up, and he's like picking random people in the room. And then I know exactly, but when it like jump cuts and they're not there, it just like, I can't explain it, but it amplifies that feeling of that unsettling feeling. So I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
For you, you're like, why did you do that? You didn't do that before. But for me, it just amplifies it. That's what it does for me.
You see, I never felt that tension or that
Wow.
fear or that unease.
Wow, I did.
Frank's character to me is a buffoon. And he starts off way the hell up here.
Yeah.
And I can't take him seriously because of the very first scene that he's in, right?
Yes.
He's like, now call me daddy. Where's my bourbon?
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Oh,
like,
God.
Who behaves like that? Buffoons. Like,
Well,
if he had, if there was some simmering, right, like quiet to go along with that, I would take it seriously. But he's a clown the whole movie, and every time he's on screen, it's like, oh, this guy again.
Man, I don't know. Okay, we have a completely different reaction because my reaction is pure fear, but also understanding that he is a buffoon. I see exactly like the buffoonery is there, but I think the thing with me is that when I've been in situations vaguely similar to this, I don't make it sound like I've been kidnapped before and like, no, I haven't, but I've, run into people who are weird, but they are buffoons. Like, I think what David Lynch, because I think David Lynch's POV and his interpretation of this world is that this guy is an idiot. And even though he's beating this woman, he's basically raping her, he is an idiot, and with his oxygen mask, whatever the fuck he's doing, like, and then the way that he's talking to her, yeah, I think he is a buffoon, but it's also frightening. Like, I'm laughing at him, but I'm also like, every time he opened his mouth, I was laughing, but I was also scared.
You see, I didn't get the scared part.
Oh,
and,
wow!
And
okay.
I think I saw at times what David Lynch was trying to do. Like, every time he breathed into that mask, he was about to do something terrible.
Sure.
Right? Like, he's fueling himself up with this mask, and now he's got the energy to do something truly horrible, except he's a clown when he's doing it, and I can't take it seriously. Now, we're going to take a brief aside here.
Sure.
Are you familiar with a band that was moderately popular in the mid-1990s called Mr. Bungle?
Okay, before you say one more word,
Yep.
I was watching this movie tonight thinking, what is the music analogy of Blue Velvet? And you know what I thought of? Faith No More.
Yeah. Faith No More and Mr. Bungle share
the
famously
same lead singer.
A lead singer.
So why did you think of Mr. Bungle?
Because that is my first exposure to Blue Velvet.
What?
There's a song called Girls of Porn.
And there's a sample of this, right?
The entire party scene is sampled.
Yes.
So I have...
Yes.
That beer's going to get warm. One thing I can't fucking stand is warm beer makes me fucking puke. I get the cadence to that line, having never seen the movie before.
Wow.
Because I've heard it so many times. And it's interesting to me because that character, Frank, that I heard in this Mr. Bungle sample is a far more threatening voice than the Frank that I saw here. Right?
Okay. Well, because I noticed even his breathing. I'm like, that's Mr. Bungle. I heard it. I'm like, that's Mr. Bungle. Mm-hmm. Now, it's funny because my takeaway from that is that it's obviously Mike Patton. He's the connective tissue. Is that he, like, there's one Mr. Bungle song where he's like, "Don't you fucking look at me," remember? Over and over and over again. And I think it's like, it's from the recesses of his subconscious that this type of character comes from. And so I think it's from a similar, I don't know, point of view or interpretation, but I don't know. I guess it's just like, let's just talk about David Lynch for a minute. If you go back to the beginning of the movie, these white picket fences with this old style firefighter, thing coming through with the painted on smile and the waving. It's like stereotypical innocent America. Right. 100%.
Like, this is a town where nothing bad happens.
And then, and then watering the lawn, and then just that the music kicks in, and then the guy falls over, and then the dog is like drinking the water, and then the camera just zooms into the grass or whatever. Yeah, clearly this is about Americana. Clearly there's something weird going on here. And then when Kyle MacLachlan is walking home and he finds the ear, it's just like this, okay, what the hell is going on? But I don't like, and this is what I mean is, this is the first time I noticed that if you were to write down this plot, it's very simple and very almost ridiculous. Like, I was spying and I saw the man in yellow talk to the well-dressed man, and then they saw a murder. You see the body hanging out of the window. Like, it is all these pieces are ridiculous, but I think it's all about the way that it's told.
Well, that
100%
the
for
way
me
that
works.
particular bit was told didn't work for me
Okay.
at all, because it's like all of a sudden the movie kind of stops, and now we've got Kyle MacLachlan who's showing pictures to the cop
Yeah.
of the movie. Like, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then they saw all these things. Oh, well, why don't you put that in the movie instead of showing us pictures of the movie?
I know what you're saying, but I don't know. For me, it's just I think the key to this movie is the way that it's told. It's not literally what happens. Like I said, like sometimes the movie's about the plot, but this movie's not about the plot. It's about the way that the plot's told. You know what I
I
mean?
do get that. I do get that. I guess my point is that I see that they're trying to do something, but what they're trying to do just isn't working for me. And it kind of comes across like you're trying to trick me, or you're trying to outsmart me, or you're trying to do clever things for the sake of being clever. And
Which is what I used to think. Yeah.
I can take some of that.
Okay.
I can take some of that. But when your whole movie is that, it feels disingenuous to me. I don't know. It feels a little dishonest. Again, I have to watch this movie 3 or 4 more times.
Sure.
But this is sort of my first impression. It's like, really? You're doing that? Okay, fine.
See, I feel like it's like, have you ever heard David Lynch talk?
No.
Oh.
Or have I? I don't, not that I.
Okay, it's actually like it's not as ridiculous a question as it sounds, because if you saw him and you heard him talk, you realize that he is nothing like the movies that he does, right? He is so straight-laced and I guess almost old-fashioned that I think his depiction of like the crime that you see and the corruption or whatever you want to call it, and it is from a real place of shock and of that's the only way I can describe it. That it's almost like he has this old Hollywood innocence to himself, and it's corrupted by what he sees, and he's trying to express it in these movies, all of these movies. That's how I see it. Like Kyle MacLachlan's character is almost like him, and then he's encountering this pandemonium and this chaos.
I can see that. I can see that, right? Because Kyle MacLachlan's character does kind of feel like a fish out of water the whole movie, right? Like nothing is resolved there.
Right.
you know, I was kind of hoping that the movie was going to end in a different spot.
Okay.
The spot where he goes up to the apartment again, and he sees the man in yellow.
Yep.
And he's just kind of dead and standing there.
Yes.
And then there's the dude just kind of tied up. That was very interesting visually. But then Kyle MacLachlan says, I'm just going to let the cops find these guys. And then he walks away. And I was hoping the credits were going to roll right then. Right? Like just like this movie just got too weird for Kyle MacLachlan. And I'm out. See ya.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. And remember how earlier I said it's like a Mobius strip? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me ask you, what in the fuck did you think was happening in that scene when he comes into the room and he sees the man in yellow and he sees the guy kind of tied up on the seat with his ear cut off? Mm-hmm. What is your interpretation of what's going on there?
It didn't really register.
Okay.
To be completely honest, like a lot of the stuff that was happening in this movie is just like, oh, this? No? Like, all right.
Okay.
No, like in terms of the overall story, I don't have a fucking clue what those guys were doing.
Well, okay. I'm just going to gander. Is it gander? No, hazard a guess.
Sure.
I'm going to hazard a guess that this is literally the scene that led to the ear at the beginning of the movie. It's like he's seeing the past, and despite the fact that he's seeing the past, they can interact with these characters because Dennis Hopper shoots the one, and then what's his name? Kyle MacLachlan grabs the gun from him. Despite the fact that they are physically there in the room, this is actually the beginning of the story, and this is how the ear got to be where it is. That's what I mean when I say it's a Mobius strip. It doesn't make logical sense, but it makes sense in a surreal way. It does connect together, just not logically.
Time is a flat circle.
Exactly.
The same things happen over and over again. Kyle MacLachlan will find that ear.
Exactly.
Over and
Time
over.
is the fire in which we burn. But here's the thing. I guess, yeah, so the big divide is my fear of Frank and you're non-fear of Frank. Like I was scared to death of him.
I mean, I'd be afraid of being in a room with him just because,
Sure.
like, holy shit, that's going to be a long couple hours.
Yeah, okay. But okay, so what did you think about, we talked about MacLachlan. What did you think about Isabella Rossellini as the brunette, dark-haired girl?
Didn't like her either.
Okay.
Didn't like her either. She seemed, okay, how do I put this another way? If she was acting in someone else's movie,
Yeah.
and we didn't know who this someone else was, right? Like if this was just some random director directing some random shitty film and this
Sure.
was her character, I'd laugh at it,
Okay.
right? I don't know. It didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
I felt no sympathy for her.
Okay.
It felt as though, again, like she wasn't a real person. They didn't really flesh out too much of the, like her husband is missing and her kid is missing, and that's it's enough of a thing
crazy.
that we hold on that at the end of the movie for like 90 seconds. This kid with the little hat with the spinny thing that we saw earlier.
Yeah.
But that's not fleshed out enough that I give a shit about it. Like, oh, she's got the kid, good for her. What happened to the husband? I don't know.
You know what though? Again, I don't expect to have it develop because I feel like I'm seeing this whole story through Kyle MacLachlan's point of view, and if it's almost like he's just getting peeks into this world, and so when she's like going to that room and like talking to her kid, you're like, what the hell is going on? This is crazy, you know. And then what was the other thing you mentioned about her? Here's the other thing too. The fact that she's like, hit me, and then he refuses to, but then he actually does. And then it comes back to haunt him later. Again, I feel like this is his character getting thrown into this world of crime and evil and chaos. And I don't know. I just think it's like, again, it's not realistic, but it's representational, I think. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And then the man in yellow, the fact that he goes to the cop headquarters and he's going to the room to find the other guy, and then he peeks in and the man has the same suit on every day. Like, that's obviously surreal. That's insane. It doesn't make any sense. And then the fact that the man in yellow comes to the house, all that shit. Like, again, if you were to write that down, you're like, what the hell is this? It's a cartoon, but I think it's great though. I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's going to take me a few more times to really come up with my assessment of this movie, but it doesn't really land for me.
Okay.
It doesn't really land for me. I love the way it looks.
Okay.
It has all sorts of style, but it's just too bizarre.
One last actor, Laura Dern.
Yes.
What'd you think of her?
She was cute. Again, she wasn't really all that fleshed out.
Okay.
A lot of the actors in this film were very flat affect for most of it, and then like she was the same, and except for when she saw Kyle MacLachlan with what's her face, and then she had a panic attack. But beyond that, she's very.
You know, here's the thing: we're not talking about Twin Peaks, but Twin Peaks has a similar vibe. Okay, and I remember watching Twin Peaks after a few episodes and going, okay, what is Lynch going for? What is Lynch going for? And then I realized, oh my God, he's satirizing soap operas. Now, I'm not saying this movie is a satire of a soap opera, but it certainly has a Hollywood, like the score is old Hollywood. Blue Velvet is an old 50s song. Isabella Rossellini standing on stage singing, that has and then even the opening scene with the fire truck and everything.
It feels very antique.
Yeah, very, very. And I feel like, I guess my final thesis is you're not going to get realism. You're not going to get three-dimensional characters. You're just going to get, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's definitely surreal. That's for sure.
I was expecting surreal. Like I was not expecting realism.
Okay.
And I was not necessarily expecting characters that acted in a normal way either.
Sure.
But this was just a little too far in this direction.
Okay.
And if you're looking at it as just an art piece, okay, that's great. But if you're looking at it as a film that has a story, there's a bunch of stuff here that, like, it wouldn't have taken much to adjust, to rein in some of this crazy, right? And I think if you rein in some of Frank's, and I know that this isn't what Lynch wanted to do.
Yeah.
This is all his vision. That's fine. But if I was doing this, if I was telling a story like this with characters like these, someone like Frank, I would start him down here before bringing him up here. I would let you make the determination yourself. Is he a scary, evil person? Maybe call it into question at first. Like, is this the evil guy? I don't know. To have him jump in the room and be like, where's my bourbon? Like, oh, this is a caricature.
It is a caricature. I agree. It is a caricature, but I'm still scared shitless of him the moment he walks in the room. I don't know.
And it also feels insulting in a way too, right? To be like, this guy is so evil that he has to turn it up to 11. Like, I know that's not the case. Like, it's not a matter of you're afraid that I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
But it feels like that at times, right? Like, yeah, he's evil. I know.
Okay.
I know he's evil. You can make him not be so evil.
But I have to ask you, because we talked about kind of like the randomness of the plot or whatever you want to call it. I have to ask you about a couple things that I loved.
Yeah.
When Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern are walking down the street and Kyle MacLachlan says, hey, have you ever seen the chicken walk? What's the chicken walk? And then he just leaves and he just like does the chicken walk and he comes back and then she laughs and then just fades to black. Like, that's one example.
Yes. I think that sort of thing's charming.
Okay.
It's charming.
Also, when they get out of the car and I don't remember if they're going to beat him up. Oh, no, I think they're threatening to kill him. I don't know what they're doing. But it keeps cutting back to the girl standing on the hood of the car dancing to that song. That's insanity to me. That's what I mean. That makes it more unsettling. The fact that this guy's about to get killed, but over here, everything's just perfectly normal. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that sort of thing works, right? Because it's a juxtaposition. Right. And you're showing some contrast.
Right.
You're showing that this serious thing is happening over here where 6 feet away, this girl's just like, fuck it. I'm dancing on the roof of the car.
Right.
That sort of thing works for me. But again, like it's contrast.
Right.
There's a bit of this to go with a bit of this.
Okay.
And I know that I'm really being hard on Frank's character, but he's one note the whole fucking movie.
I loved him. Here's the thing. We have watched, on this podcast, we've watched Wild at Heart. Mm-hmm. And now we've watched...
I don't think we've done this on the podcast, but we have watched
No, I don't think we did. We watched it. We didn't review it. You're right. But we're going to be reviewing more David Lynch films, I assume.
Yeah. I'd certainly like to see some more.
Right. Because there's only a handful. There's not that many. So be sure to join us for future David Lynch films, because we're going to see if Champion's opinion ever changes about David Lynch. It took, like I said, it took me a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I put him in a different category than I do now. It took me, like, I had to sit down and watch, like, all of them in a row to be like, I think I get it now. And now he's one of my favorite directors. Mm-hmm. So be sure to join us. Also, be sure to join us every Wednesday at Meteor for Movie Night, Uniplex.
That's right.
Coming up, we have Paprika.
Yep. And before that, Forbidden Planet.
Yes, Forbidden Planet, then Paprika, then many other surprises. So be sure to join us every week. I want to thank Champion for joining me.
For actually sticking around for the podcast.
Everyone else decided to ditch us, but that's okay. We're not upset. Everyone else had plans. That's okay.
Well, David Lynch is a very challenging podcast to talk about.
But next time, maybe we'll have Julie on. All right. Julie's pick. Okay. There you go. comicbooksyndicate.com, youtube.com. Champion, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Until the next time.